One evening, in a cramped and messy apartment, a mother was frantically frisking her daughter. The daughter cried and begged, "Please, Mom, my sister and I haven't eaten all day." The children's cries didn't soften the mother's heart. She fished money from her daughter's pocket, then grabbed her husband's hand and rushed out the door. When the two sisters chased them to an alley, their parents were already using that money to trade for drugs. The two sisters, as if all too familiar with this scene, silently turned towards a nearby trash can. Ignoring the buzzing flies, they grabbed the leftover food from the bin and shoved it greedily into their mouths. This is an unforgettable scene from the autobiography Breaking Night by American author Liz Murray, and such scenes were a daily reality in the author's childhood. In the slum where she lived, drug use, murder, and prostitution were rampant. Liz's life was like a tragedy, filled only with helplessness and despair. She once fought with rats for food scraps by the trash can, was harassed, beaten, and endured every kind of humiliation. Carrying that shame, Liz seemed to exist only in oblivion and suffering, as if torn to pieces by a cruel world. She was weak and defenseless. While reading this memoir, I shuddered many times, not because the story was thrilling, but because Liz's extreme misery and poverty are enough to make one feel their own will to live is being wrung dry. Many years later, this girl, born with the worst possible script, made a spectacular turnaround. She not only gained admission to Harvard University, but also became the miracle girl who moved the entire American nation. Afterwards, the media rushed in, trying to discover the secret to her comeback. As countless people examined Liz's path to adulthood under a microscope, the truth gradually emerged. In this world, there are no miracles that just happen. The so-called secret to success is actually a passionate pursuit of self-change and development. When facing life's hardships, people with this passionate pursuit of self-development will proactively break through their limitations, finding opportunities to change their own destiny entirely. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Love and Life, the channel sharing knowledge for holistic self-development through great books. Today, Love and Life wants to share with you the true story of author Liz Murray. She used the details of her own life to write the autobiographical novel Breaking Night, 2003. Her story was adapted into a film that received 3 nominations at the 55th Emmy Awards. The Bible says that there are only 2 paths in life. One path leads to eternal life, which is a narrow path that few people find. The other leads to destruction, with a wide gate and a broad road that many travel. The path of self-improvement is that narrow path. This book will bring you profound insights and new inspiration for living, helping you realize the importance of relentlessly striving for self-development, thereby leading you to a more fulfilling and meaningful life. Now let's listen to today's sharing. The passionate pursuit of self-development is the transformative power that comes after realizing a tragic reality. Liz's initial tragedy stemmed from her depraved parents. Her mother had a rebellious personality from a young age, hated reading, detested school, dropped out early, used drugs, stole, and was promiscuous. Her father was even worse. Although he attended school for a few years, he made no effort, only knew how to scam, cause trouble, and had been to prison for drug dealing. The two had no skills. After marrying, they could only live on welfare, drifting at the bottom rungs of society, enduring contempt and ridicule. Her father, an alcoholic, often beat his wife and children. Her mother, a drug addict, was completely unable to care for the family. Their children suffered from constant hunger, wore ragged, filthy clothes, their hair full of lice, unable to hold their heads high in front of their peers. Seeing their hopeless life, Liz's father went mad and left home. Her mother feigned insanity and entered a shelter. They both contracted AIDS and died tragically. In reality, Liz's parents did not come from bad backgrounds. They had the same starting point as most people. The only difference was that at an age when they should have been studying, they partied recklessly. When others were working hard, they indulged in immediate pleasures. After those brief moments of gratification, the consequences quickly caught up, causing them to slide, step by step, into a bottomless abyss. With such a family of origin, Liz's childhood was like a nightmare. This nightmare was so long that Liz thought her life could never get better. She unconsciously began to follow her parents' old path, finding ways to escape from life. In school, to avoid being shunned by her classmates, she often skipped school and went home. When she entered society, she couldn't stand the heavy pressures of life and wandered all day with a bad crowd. These friends told her that making money was simple. Just steal, nobody cares. Love was exciting, much more fun than studying. She treated these words as gospel, began shoplifting from supermarkets, skipping out on motel bills, smoking, drinking, and tasting the forbidden fruit with her boyfriend. However, the law of cause and effect is never wrong. Everything you do has been priced, and its consequences will certainly return to haunt you, and no one else. Liz paid a heavy price for her indulgent behavior. She was beaten while stealing, drank until she vomited blood, and worst of all, her boyfriend, after abusing her both physically and mentally, callously abandoned her. Once, on a cold winter night, Liz was kicked out of the motel by her boyfriend. She was cold and hungry. Swallowing her disgust, she grabbed moldy food from a trash can and shamelessly begged her friends to let her stay for just one night. She lived like an outline of human suffering, covered in wounds, full of fear, not knowing if she would see tomorrow. While Liz was lost and helpless, a horrific murder occurred. Witnessing this scene caused her to start reflecting and completely changed her perception. A 39-year-old single mother had died tragically in a motel. She left behind 5 young children in poverty. People coldly dragged away the corpse with its rigid, emotionless face. This tragic, bloody scene was seared into Liz's brain. She had a premonition that if she continued to escape, this would be her end. In the book, she says, "At that moment, I understood that I had to choose. I could find excuses to bow to life, or I could force myself to build a better life." She needed to decide to change, to end her indulgent life. More than ever, a burning urge for a diligent and meaningful life surged within her. She decisively broke up with her boyfriend, abandoned all her bad habits, created an action plan, and found a decent job. Liz gradually eliminated all her bad habits by forming positive ones. She began to read more and found the path to change her destiny. She absolutely had to return to school. Unfortunately, due to her incomplete transcript, she was rejected by all public schools. But she didn't give up. To get an opportunity, she went to the admissions office every day, sometimes standing for 4 hours. Finally, a non-traditional school agreed to interview her. Not wanting to miss this chance, she borrowed materials from friends and studied day and night. She finally won over the interviewer with her confident manner of speaking and unique thoughts, and she was accepted. Perhaps within each of us, there is a shadow of Liz. Our family situation might not be good, so we think our life can only be that way. Work isn't going smoothly, so we think we're untalented or unlucky and choose to stay put. Test scores aren't high, so we assume we're not suited for studying and choose to just get by. We don't realize that the more we hide, accept, and compromise, the further we move from the path that could have helped us shine and live a truly meaningful life. Often, a person cannot change their situation because they don't want to face reality. When life is difficult for us, the easiest way is to give up, surrender, and let life drift. Escaping is always the path of least resistance, while changing oneself requires a great desire, a powerful urge, and strong willpower. And now is the time you need to directly face your own problems. If you are still lacking confidence because of any insecurity, if you are only complaining about your circumstances, looking for excuses, or escaping, if you are afraid of change and prefer to maintain the status quo, if you lack patience and want quick results, if you lack internal motivation and have no clear goals, if you are complacent or satisfied with what you have, thinking change is unnecessary. And if you are completely unaware of the importance of self-development, these are all signs that you lack the passionate urge to pursue self-development. Therefore, start today. Look squarely at yourself, recognize the problems, and begin to fix them. Don't be afraid of change. See it as part of the process of growth and progress. Only when you dare to face and overcome your own limits can you truly rise to a new level. The person who seeks to retreat will always find hardship. The person who urges themselves forward will be able to rise high. The American writer Norman Cousins said that adversity either makes a person small or makes us stronger. It never leaves a person in their original state. When Liz was accepted into school, she was overjoyed to be able to restart her life, but she discovered that her knowledge had too many gaps. Economically, she had no one to rely on. She had to earn her own living expenses, find her own food, and also face criticism about her past. She studied during the day and worked at night. Besides her main courses, she registered for early classes and classes at neighboring high schools. She didn't skip class. Even when exhausted, she completed her homework on time. Every day, she slept only 4 hours, did hundreds of practice tests, and memorized her textbooks. At night, Liz also spent 6 hours working part-time, but life was still extremely tight. To save money, she never rented a place. At night, the subway, hallways, and even the corners of friends' houses became her bed. She had to wait for their parents to fall asleep before she dared to sneak in, barely managing to curl up in a closet or bathroom for 4 to 5 hours, then waking up early to rush out before they awoke. She was like a rootless water fern. Though she had no anchor, she could still thrive thanks to the water's buoyancy. Like a brave warrior, relying on her own grit and unyielding will, Liz truly stepped out of the heap of misery and decay, opening a new path to life. In the end, the girl who was once at the bottom of her class graduated at the top of her entire school. Liz used 2 years to complete the 4-year high school program with excellent grades. She was accepted into Harvard and also received a top scholarship from the New York Times. In this lifetime, we will all inevitably experience countless hardships. Some people wake up early and toil for half their lives, but still don't have enough money to pay off family debts. Some are living peacefully with a happy family, but a sudden accident strikes. And others have an easier starting point from the beginning, but always encounter countless sorrows and confusion in life. The biggest obstacle is none other than ourselves. You will see that the author's ability to be reborn is inseparable from strength. This came from the desire, the urge for change, and diligence within her. It was this strength that helped her overcome herself and perform miracles. A saying in The Alchemist proves this once more. When you want something, all the universe conspires in helping you to achieve it. And in fact, the fear of suffering is worse than suffering itself. No heart has ever suffered when it goes in search of its dreams. For the author, life when her parents were alive and life after they were gone were both still very difficult and miserable. But within that same difficulty, before her awakening, Liz was extremely fragile, drifting along with life's many sorrows. But now, having achieved self-awareness and the desire to change and develop, no matter how miserable it got, Liz never felt she was unhappy. Even in the worst circumstances, she never complained or compromised, but steadfastly advanced on the path she had chosen. She replaced laziness with diligence. She replaced excuses with action. Through self-reflection, she corrected her behavior time and time again, refining and keeping the essential. Finally, she overcame every difficulty, grew, and molded into a better version of herself. And life is like that. As long as we do not stop and always have the urge to actively train ourselves, you will certainly be able to overcome all difficulties, reborn from the ashes. What determines how high you can rise lies precisely in the passionate pursuit of self-development within you. Everyone's destiny is different, but heaven has prepared a door of rebirth for all of us, and that is through the pursuit of self-development. As long as you have the urge within you, try to open this door and light will shine in, dispelling all the darkness of your life. The author did this very well. She used the detailed story of her life to show us that even if you are as lowly as a weed, you can, through self-development, break through the stone of destiny and grow into a great tree. So, how can we train this ability for self-development? From Liz's story, we can deduce 3 things. First, self-reflect to enhance cognitive improvement. The philosopher Socrates said, "The unexamined life is not worth living." If the author of this autobiography had not promptly looked back and examined her own existing problems, then even hundreds of horrifying events could not have awakened her. When you make the same mistake time and time again, submerge yourself in similar troubles, and still cannot reflect, life will continue to arrange for suffering to happen to you. If a person cannot self-reflect, there will be no real progress, and they will fall into the same old wounds again and again. Self-reflection is a process of looking at reality, facing all of one's problems to raise awareness and take right action. This not only helps you recognize mistakes and limitations, but also helps you better understand your own values and life goals. The second thing is to embrace change and dare to step out of your comfort zone. The urge to self-develop often requires us to dare to face uncertainty and be willing to change. In the book Elastic, it says that change is the normal state of the world. We must learn to embrace uncertainty to become the controllers of our own destiny. Stepping out of the comfort zone is not just about geography or career, but also about a change in mindset and attitude. Only when you are dissatisfied with the status quo and accept challenges can you open up opportunities to learn, develop new skills, gain new knowledge, raise awareness, upgrade your energy, and thereby bring significant improvements in your life. And the third thing is to focus on yourself. Be persistent and disciplined to the end. Self-development requires persistence, a long-term commitment to yourself. There is no path to success or true growth that is free of difficulties. On the journey of self-development, there will be times you feel tired and want to give up, but those very moments are the real test. There may be 100 reasons to quit, but needing just one reason to persist is enough. Continuing to persevere, maintaining discipline despite encountering many difficulties and obstacles, will help you overcome your own limits and achieve great accomplishments. Wheat and cocoons struggle, rice blossoms also toil, but this life is always about hardship before glory. Only by being steadfast and constantly striving can you meet a better version of yourself. Finally, I want to leave you with a quote from the author. Regardless of whether we are homeless or business people, doctors or teachers, whatever your background, only when we attach meaning to life does life truly have meaning. What you think your life is, it will become. Because life is fundamentally a blank page, what color it becomes is entirely up to you to paint. Therefore, don't live vaguely. Don't be immersed in short-term pleasures. Learn to delay instant gratification and persist with things that have long-term meaning. Light the fire of the passionate pursuit of self-development to add a color of diligence to your life. I hope that both you and I can be steadfast in this fire of self-development. It will guide you to do right, meaningful things throughout your life's journey. Thank you for listening. If you feel this video is useful, please share it with those who need it. Give me a like, press the subscribe button, and turn on the notification bell to catch the newest videos every week. Thank you once again, and I'll see you in the next videos.